After the passage of Hurricane Julia through the island, the departmental government continues to consolidate the damage left by the hurricane, this time slightly affecting the different touristic infrastructure.
Hurricane Julia, as it passed through San Andres, affected the tourist infrastructure of hotel chains as well as various attractions. The tourism office gave an assessment of the damages.
We have had some damages in Haynes Key. It will be closed for a few days. The dock was quite affected and destroyed. This has been incorporated in the contingency plan that is being worked on between the Secretariat of Government, the UNGRD, and the Infrastructure Secretariat to determine how to resume operations when the key is fixed. In the toponymy signs, our immediate reactions group had a couple of damages. They were in charge of the lifting of the fallen letters and they lifted them up again. And today the whole toponymy statue is in the same state as it was before the hurricane. The Cove Dock was not affected. We are continuing with a project we have with Frontour to organize and remodel it a little and continue receiving tourists for the tourist season that starts in January.
Attractions such as the Johnny Key Regional Park were also affected by the natural phenomenon. The Coralina Environmental Corporation, which is in charge of the site, is taking actions to recover the key.
The president of Cotelco San Andres branch gave an analysis of what happened before, during, and after the passage of Hurricane Julia in the hotels associated with the guild in the department. It should be noted that these hotels sheltered their employees and their families, as well as tourists who were located in hotels that were almost vulnerable to the impact of the tropical cyclone.
Teleislas News spoke exclusively with the president of Cotelco Archipelago, who announced that once it became known
the governor's office and its risk committees, and also through Cotelco Nacional, we activated these committees in each of the hotels for prevention and preoccupation in the different hotels affiliated to Cotelco, not only with our tourists, but also with our workers, employees, collaborators, and contractors. This is how, through all the protocols that were activated, we were able to mitigate the passage of Hurricane Julia through the archipelago, the effects it had on the hotel industry and also on the destination.
The hotelier also spoke about the impacts caused by the passage of the hurricane in some hotels associated with the Cotelco Guild.
The damages were minor, manageable. Today we can say that we are already 100% open. We are in a brigades of collection, cleaning, and organization of the minor damages that occurred, such as glass and some tiles of some of the establishments. But since yesterday, Tuesday, we are operating at 100%, waiting to receive all the national and international tourists and waiting for the week that traditionally is a week of very good occupancy, as it is the week of school break for the islands.
It should be noted that the families of employees who suffer great impacts in their homes are still sheltered in some of the hotels belonging to the Cotelco Guild in the archipelago.
In other news, residents of the Black Dog sector are concerned about the structure that supports the lights in the soccer stadium that threatens to fall after being weakened.
The passage of Julia left several structures collapsed and weakened. So today, the inhabitant of the Black Dog sector, Julia Martinez, expresses her fear and concern for the pole that holds the lights of the soccer stadium. She fears that it will fall on her house since during the natural phenomenon, it was shaken several times and two that were in nearby sports areas fell.
This tower where the front of my house right here, so the day after the hurricane, this tower when they shake plenty, and the neighbor run come very alarm and say if you come out of the house quick because the tower they shake too much. And immediately after that, another person come from the other side and say come out quick out of the house because two of them same tower just fall down along there. So them broke in at two and then fall down. So I want to call the attention for the authorities them to come and move this tower from front of my house because it just couple steps from front of my house. If this another strong breeze come down, this tower can fall also because it rotten because they don't make no type of maintenance on the store. And if it fall down, it going in straight on my house.
Martinez requests that the attention must be given as the competent authorities should act in response to remove this pole before it falls on her house.
So I want to call the attention of all the authority we got to do with this, for them come urgent and move this pole because it's a threat to my life and for the life of my sister and my niece who live with me right here.
Teleislas News consulted with the Secretariat of Sports, who would be in charge of the infrastructure of the soccer stadium, and unofficially stated that they will initiate the corresponding study to determine the actions to be taken in this case.
And interventions on the roads of the department to remove the poles and trees that collapsed after Hurricane Julia continue. Today, the John Wells sector road was closed to continue with removals.
In the morning hours, the road closure of John Wells sector was carried out, where a Movistar pole collapsed due to Hurricane Julia. The Secretaries of ICT and Mobility inspected the work of removal of the object by the Sopesa company that provided support to the telephone company.
Once the unit was informed about the damage to the post, we proceeded to inform the Movistar company, which is making arrangements with the Sopesa company to remove the post and repair it because it represented a danger to passersby in the sector. After the hurricane, several damages to the Archipelago Road were detected. A follow-up was made to the same. The trees that fell were cleaned and a diagnosis of the post was made. Likewise, we closed the road in order to be able to do the work and avoid any accidents. Once everything is removed, we will ensure the mobility of the sector.
The departmental government said that once the pole and the wiring that was weakened by the fall of the object are removed, the road will be open for the transit of citizens.
Enrollment for preschool 2023 is open for children under 5 years old until March 2023. The departmental government, through the Secretariat of Education, called on parents to approach the official institutions of the island to enroll the youngest members of the household.
Taking into account that early childhood education is very important for mental development of children, the Secretariat of Education invites parents to approach the official educational institution closest to their place of residence, where they will receive all the necessary information to obtain a spot and preschool 2023.
Padres de familia de San Andrés.
Parents of San Andres, I want to encourage you that if you have a child that is older than 5 years of age, whether it's your child, your neighbors, or friend, come to the official institutions to register them for the 2023 enrollment. Preschool and early childhood is an unpostponable right for children. Please do not neglect to enroll them. Registrations are open until October 30th. Please go to any school that is close to your home.
The enrollment process will depend on the methodology of each educational institution. It should be noted that the enrollment will be open until October 30th, 2022, and that early childhood education is a right that cannot be postponed.
And in other news, the director of ICETEX announced that they will soon be informing through the social networks of the entity the visit to the islands of San Andres to hold a fair where all institutional offer available for those who wish to study, it will be offered.
ICETEX announced through its director Mauricio Toro that a visit will soon be made to the islands where young people will be offered the opportunity to learn about the enroll in the academic offerings available in classroom and virtual modalities for young Colombians. This is done with the objective of complying with the guidelines of the national government to give priority attention to the archipelago. Cierre.
Estamos hablando de poder llevarla.
We are talking about being able to take the institutional framework of ICETEX with more strength than the one we have now, to guarantee that there is a wide offer for those who want to study in person or virtually in any part of Colombia, or virtually in San Andres and the archipelago. So we are going to work to announce a visit to San Andres soon with a fair that will allow us to offer credits, funds, and everything that ICETEX has, because it is a priority and an instruction from the President of the Republic to attend with priority to the archipelago. We have everything ready to accompany you with our fair so that you can get to know the offer of the educational institutions and the services of ISETEX.
It is expected that with the visit of ISETEX to Archipelago, young people who aspire to higher education can get to know the options they have for training, in addition to knowing the scholarship offers and the different methods of study available by national government through ISETEX.
And now let's get to know other facts that today are making news in our brief news section.
Livestock producers of San Andres met with the local government for the socialization of the proposal for the animal processing plant of the Secretariat of Agriculture and Fisheries. During the meeting, agreements were established how to unify our producers as an association, strengthen the skills of producers through courses and training with SENA, and finally hold 3 sectorized meetings to collect project ideas to present them at a 4th meeting. The Secretariat of Infrastructure and Public Works, together with the Secretariat of Health, inspected the construction works of the new Providence Hospital. The infrastructure presents 26% of the progress of physical execution, and the work of the new hospital will be of 2nd level, has an estimated construction area of 4,500 meters square, which will provide services of medium complexity. Today at 12:12, Coralina Environmental Corporation commemorates the Day of the Race, highlighting the culture, tradition, and ancestry of the Rizal people.
With this information, we reach to the end of this broadcast, but we see you tonight at 8 p.m. with more Teleislas News. Good afternoon.